That Zhu Yuan trailer was looking mighty spicy, and I'm here to tell you there's one huge reason that you need to pull for Zhu Yuan.
God damn.
In all seriousness though, I do believe that Zhu Yuan is going to be a must pull for most people, and let me tell you a few reasons why. Before I talk about Zhu Yuan herself, I do want to talk about all the other options that you might have if you're debating whether to pull for her or not. And the first, if you're watching this video early enough, is whether you want to pull Ellen last minute or just wait a little bit. And as much as I love Ellen, she's like one of my favorite character designs. I think they really nailed the fantasy of like swimming around as a shark outside and then dashing in and oh, they really nailed Ellen, and I love her so much. But if we're going to be objective, she is an ice damage dealer, and we already know that somewhere on the horizon we're going to get Miyabi, who is another ice damage dealer, so that niche can be filled in the near future. Ellen is definitely not a must pull. If you really love her design like I do, of course she's a must pull. But if we're looking at the grand scheme of things and trying to be smart about who we pull, maybe you don't have enough resources to pull for every limited character, and that's really most people, then Ellen is not going to be a smart choice for you, because we know there's going to be an alternative that might even be better than her somewhere in the near future. It might be an Ayaka situation with Miyabi, where if you didn't know, Ayaka was in the beta of Genshin but then came out like a year and a half later. It might be the same with Miyabi, but we know that we're going to get another S rank, really good ice DPS, so would not recommend Ellen if you're being very stingy with your pulls. Now, if we want to talk about what comes right after Zuyuan and 1.1, we already know of two characters that are coming out. I'm not going to talk explicitly about leaks, but I will get a little spoilery here for a sec, so if you care about that stuff, please skip forward. But I will say, we know we got Qingyi and Jane Doe, right? So those are two options that you might want to save for, but I'm here to tell you I don't think that they are the smartest pulls if you are very limited on the pulls that you can use, because like I said, I'm not going to be explicit, but what I will say is those two 1.1 units are basically just upgrades of A ranks that we already have. So they're not going to unlock any new potential like damage and attribute type on your account. They're just going to be upgrades over what you could get from A ranks. So I would say I would recommend Zhu Yuan, who is going to be a lot more novel and a lot more valuable to your account right away and for the next few months in this start of the game. Now, with all that being said, I do think that out of the first 4 limited banners that we have access to in Z3, Zhu Yuan is not only going to provide the most immediate value to your account, but also might have the most staying power, which might sound egregious, right? Because she's a 1.0 main DPS, which are kind of notorious for getting power crept very easily. But again, we have Ellen, who has another character who fills her same niche that we know is on the horizon in the future. And then the two that come after her already have A rank versions that can fill that niche, whereas Zhu Yuan does not have any characters that can do what she does at this time, and most likely won't have any in the foreseeable future. Now, another huge reason that Zhu Yuan could be a very good pull for your account is that her best team as of her release is going to be very free to play friendly, and that is Nicole and Ambi, right? Nicole being the support and Ambi as a stun character. Nicole is currently the only ether character in the game besides Zhu Yuan, and they're going to work great together on top of Nicole already just being a great support by herself. She has the defense shred, and she's also going to boost ether damage, so they go together perfectly. And then Ambi is going to be able to get her passive off from being paired with Nicole, as well as just giving you extra stun. And this goes back to those free-to-play players or low spenders who are watching this video, maybe trying to decide who they're going to spend their precious pulls on. And this is another great reason to pull for Zhu Yuan, because the units you build around her are very easily accessible. Now, I'd like to cook here about the niches that I was referring to earlier, and really all I was talking about is that as we near the end game in Zenless Zone 0, you're going to find out that really what you're going to need is a main DPS of every attribute type. So you're going to need an ice type, you're going to need an ether type, a fire type, all of them to cover all of your bases for whatever enemies you're going to fight, either in Shiyu defense or really even if you're just farming every day. Even if you're not one of those cutting edge players who's trying to push the final floors of Shiyu defense while you're under leveled, you still may feel this in just your basic everyday domains. For example, there's this disk drive domain that you can get the swing jazz set from, which is BIS for like every support character, and the buffed attribute is ether, but there's no ether characters in the game right now, so it feels really bad going into this. Let me show you. So here I am. I brought my best team in here, which is my ice team currently. They clear like 95% of the content that I run every day, so I should have no problems, right? Let's see. No, actually, if you see, these guys are resistant to ice damage. So you'll see those gray numbers. My team is useless right now against these guys. Yeah, maybe I can clear this eventually, but it's going to take forever. I'm doing nothing to them. So basically, I'm griefing myself because I don't have the right attribute for this place. And this issue is only going to be exacerbated as you push into the Xiyu defense, where you can see they also have recommended attributes. Now, all of these enemies in Xiyu defense, especially as we push into like the end game, are going to have about a bajillion HP. It's going to be hard enough already to get things down in time. So you're basically going to need to have whatever recommended attribute it is in order to get an S rank in the later stages of Xiyu defense. Now, if we look at all of the characters available to us in 1.0, it's pretty reasonable to cover all of your bases for every attribute except for Ether as of right now. For example, we have Fire, you can get Soldier 11, we got Ben Bigger, we got Lucy, lots of different options. For Frost, you've got Ellen, you've got Sokaku, who's pretty good by herself. For Shock, you have a ton, right? You could get Ambi, Lucy, Anton going on, he's awesome. And then of course, Physical has like 4 already that are all main damage dealers. Korin, Nakamata, Billy, and Piper down here. So pretty much all of your bases covered except for Ether, right? You can run Nicole and she's great, right? But she's not going to do enough anomaly damage to where it's really going to make a difference in those Ether attribute favored fights. So what I'm trying to say here is that no matter how lucky you got on the standard banner, no matter how many pulls you did on Ellen's banner, no matter who you have on your account, everyone is the same. They can all benefit from Zhu Yuan because no one at this point in time has an answer for those Ether attribute favored fights. If you are trying to cover all your bases and you're trying to be competitive, you're trying to have an answer for every different type of enemy type, you absolutely need Zhu Yuan on your account because there's no alternative to her right now, and there's none that we know of in the near future. Now, if you really wanted to min-max your account and make sure you got the most value out of your pulls, you could wait till the end of Zhu Yuan's banner and wait for some drip marketing to come out for 1.2, because maybe, you never know, maybe there's an A rank that does the same job as her, just not as good. So you never know with that, but as of this moment, as of right now, she is going to be the only option you have for doing good Ether damage. Now, of course, disclaimer, pull whoever you want, right? It's a gacha game. It's a single player game where we pull for these hot waifus, right? Who cares who you get? I don't really care, but I'm just saying, if you're really trying to min-max your account and get the most value, Zhu Yuan is probably the best pick out of these first 4 limited banners. Maybe I'm wrong though. If you think so, please let me know what you think down in the comments. I really appreciate you watching this far, and if you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm coming out with a bunch of ZZZ content, so look forward to that. Best of luck to you on your Zhu Yuan pulls if you do choose to go for her, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.